Since Flower Mound is the top of the list of the best Dallas suburbs to live, people want to know, what are the pros and cons of living in Flower Mound? Well, stay tuned because that's what we're talking about today.
Hey there, we are Bret and Molly Chance with Texas Home Life Realty, and we love helping people find the best Dallas suburb to call home. You know, the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex is a big place with lots of great cities. So finding the right place for you and your family to live can seem overwhelming. Well, if that's you, we are here to help. Reach out to us by phone or email, and we'll go to work helping you find your new home.
Now, before we dive into the updated version of the pros and cons of living in Flower Mound, Texas, I want to let you know that everything that's shared on the previous video on the pros and cons of living in Flower Mound still holds true. And we'll share that link to the video at the end. So today we're giving you the updated version and adding another few of the pros and the cons of living in Flower Mound. Now let's get started with the pros. First, Flower Mound is continuously holding several impressive titles, such as the 4th best place to live in the U.S. by Money Magazine, 4th most livable small city in the U.S. by Smart Assets, the 3rd best suburb to buy a house in the DFW area by Niche, 7th best suburb to raise a family in Texas by Niche, 8th place with the best public schools in Texas by Niche, and the 25th safest city in Texas by Safewise.
Another pro to living in Flower Mound is its green spaces. When you drive through Flower Mound neighborhoods, you can't help but notice all of the beautiful trees and the green spaces. See, one of the town's key goals in keeping with the vision of the community plan is to, quote, preserve the country atmosphere and natural environment that makes Flower Mound a unique and desirable community. The town is very intentional in creating and conserving open space, and personally I believe that's one big distinction that sets Flower Mound apart from most other Dallas suburbs.
A third pro is lower taxes. Now this may come as a surprise, but the town of Flower Mound actually lowered the tax rate to the lowest in Flower Mound's history and well below the average of benchmark cities. We just heard from the mayor of Flower Mound recently that his goal is to continue to find ways to ease the tax burden on the homeowners, possibly even increasing the amount of homestead exemptions. That way, homeowners that have a homestead exemption will even get a better benefit than over the investor or a corporate-owned property.
Now, before we jump into the cons of living in Flower Mound, be sure to give us a like, subscribe to our channel, and hit that bell to get notified every time we create a new video about the best suburbs of Dallas. And we've also created the top 10 best Dallas suburbs guide for you to download below. You won't find all this information put together for you anywhere else. Now, let's dive into the cons about living in Flower Mound. First on our list is the traffic. Now, to be honest, this one isn't a big deal for us because of where we lived before. I personally think it's all relative, but some Flower Mound residents do find it annoying, especially on 2499 or Long Prairie Road. This is the main artery that runs north-south through Flower Mound down to the Dallas-Fort Worth International Airport and other adjacent cities. So morning and evening commuter traffic can get congested.
Now, the other con can be the lack of nightlife and activities for young adults and singles. Flower Mound tends to be more attractive to families than young adults and singles. So if you fall into one of these categories and you're really looking for a downtown city vibe and clubbing nightlife, you may find Flower Mound a little bit not so exciting for you. However, if you like hiking, biking, boating, and other outdoor activities, Flower Mound definitely fits that bill.
Okay, you're gonna think this next con is probably the cheesiest thing you've ever heard, but one of the biggest cons of living in Flower Mound is that it spoils you from wanting to go anywhere else.
There are some great cities in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, and they each have their own great attributes for sure.
Right. But every time we go somewhere else and we drive back home to Flower Mound, as soon as we see the city limit sign, it's like we breathe a sigh of relief.
It's our own bubble outside the big city where people are friendly, scenery is beautiful, and they feel safe to let their kids ride their bikes to the local parks.
It's truly like no other place we've ever lived.
You can download our Flower Mound relocation guide at the link below, and feel free to call us if you have any questions about Flower Mound or any of the Dallas-Fort Worth suburbs.
And as promised, you can check out our original video on the pros and cons of living in Flower Mound, Texas up next.